career in championship fights. Underdog, I couldn't believe how many times in his career people doubted this guy and doubted him and said the other guy was better. And the other guy
every time. Resume. Literally every time. He's the greatest of all time, Andrew. And I can't hear, like, okay.
That's what's sad about this whole thing, Lee, is they're not saying that.
No, they're just saying he's great for this era.
Yeah. And no, not even great. He was an all-time great Hall of Famer, but you're not hearing anyone put him in the category of a Floyd or a Roy Jones, and he's right there. He's Sugar Ray.
He's better than Roy. Look, if those two had ever locked up, what a great fight it would have been.
Right. Imagine him and James Toney at a super middleweight.
Well, James Toney would never be able to hit him.
His inside skills versus Andre Ward's grappling. It's an awesome fight. These are awesome fights. I don't even know if Bernard. I believe Bernard Hopkins knew he couldn't beat Andre. That's why he never wanted to fight him. Look, Bernard fought everybody, but for some reason didn't want Andre, and it's because Andre was him, just younger. He had the sneaky style of the Bernard Hopkins, but he was 20-something years younger than him. I can't mess with that kid. That kid's me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't say enough. I have been, and for those of that have listened to the show long enough, you know that I dog Andre on some level, and that's for not having great fights. And truthfully, he is in that Triple G category. Who wants to fight a guy that's going to... It's like fighting Mayweather. I'm sure Mayweather wanted all the big fights. I'm sure it's like there are bigger fights. But here's the problem. You're going to lose. Everybody can walk. You can walk into a fight with confidence and go, "Yeah, I'll take Andre Ward." Really? What did you suddenly learn?
For that.
How did you suddenly get that good in your mind? Mayweather's at 40-0. Fighters have to think, "Oh, I can get past that shoulder roll somehow." Really? How? Because 40 other guys have tried it and thought the exact same thing you did. And now you're talking about Andre. Like, Andre Ward goes into that category. There are people who avoided him. Triple G will be that way if he walks out undefeated all the way. And people will always doubt it. Well, he didn't fight the best. It was handpicked. It was blah, blah, blah. Same thing for Canelo. Like, if he only has 1 or 2 losses, it was all cherry-picked by Oscar. You know what? That's what all the haters are going to say. Look, I can hate on Canelo all I want. Dude fights dudes. He's fighting.
I was going to just say, he's going to have more than that because he fights everyone. Canelo has proven in his career, like Oscar De La Hoya, he takes on all comers.
He doesn't care. I'm going to just fight.
He's going to have more than 2 losses.
And what changed Oscar dramatically and why I like Oscar a lot more as a fighter, not as a promoter, he's a drunken, stupid idiot as a promoter. He has defined promoters as being a alleged coke-sniffing, drunken party animal that I'm amazed if he's still married. Like, he's an idiot. Like, he's a legit idiot as a human being. Now, as a fighter, I'll tell you this about Oscar. Before he started taking money grabs, right? Dropping weight, gaining weight, all this crazy crap. In his prime, once he lost the decision, that's when Oscar hit his stride. Then his attitude was, I'm just going to fight everybody. Let's see how it goes.
You know when I think he lost it for boxing? Mosley. I think boxing was hungry to milk Oscar for everything. And when Felix Trinidad and Don King started playing the BS, we're not taking the rematch, and ran to junior middleweight, then ran to middleweight, and threatened to even go higher. Remember, there was talks of Trinidad fighting Roy Jones at light heavyweight. They wanted nothing to do with Oscar after that gift decision. Controversial, close, I say gift decision from Oscar. They didn't want him. And then what do? They take the lightweight champ, undefeated lightweight champ, Mosley, from L.A., big rival there. They had a history, and they had a close fight, and they what I think took it from Oscar again. And people, I wasn't an Oscar fan back then. You must know, Oscar beat my fighter of all time, Julio Cesar Chavez. I don't like De La Hoya at this moment in my boxing career. Right, Lee? You know that. Chavez is my guy. Oscar straight made a joke of him in the rematch. The whole Tiger Woods thing, telling Chavez to get out of his corner. That was all BS. I don't like Oscar at this moment, but he earned my respect over time. That Trinidad fight, you can't take that away from him. You cannot. Sometimes there's moments in guys' lives where you just got to give credit where credit's due. De La Hoya versus Felix is one of those times. Like Jim says in round 8, it's what? How did he put it? It's a mismatch. What did he say? And it's supposed to be the fight of the era.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Then he loses 4 rounds later. Get out of here. I want to cuss, Lee. I want to cuss.
Attica. There you go. That finishes the story of Andre Ward.
Andre, I think, is going to be back. I'm hoping he's not a guy that makes money, thinks he's settled, realizes he's not, comes back. It's just weird. Lee, it was the best performance of his career. The right hand looked healed. Now, he didn't really throw over the top. I still don't think he could throw a fastball pitch, but the right hand is definitely doing damage that night. The left hook looked fine. He went the distance the first time, knocks him out in the second time. He looked better. Now it's, like HBO Max said last night, it was about to get easier. We'll talk about Gilberto Ramirez. Yes, Gilberto Ramirez is still undefeated. He still looks like he's going to be a force for the Mexican fight fans. He's a potential pay-per-view hit for Ward. And guess what? He looked hella beatable last night for Andre Ward. That guy needs a better defense. If you think you're going to take on Andre, you need a better defense because in the inside, he'll tear you apart. That's a win. Adonis Stevenson. You have that fight there. Adonis got hella lucky. Now he just gets to beat up a broken Kovalev, possibly, Lee. I know what you just said, and that could be true, but it also could be true that Kovalev will never recover from what Andre's done to him and his team. Remember, Kovalev's team is now destroyed because of Andre Ward. He broke the relationship of John David Jackson and Sergey Kovalev. He broke the relationship of main events and Sergey Kovalev. So we don't know who Sergey's coming back as. Adonis is smiling somewhere. He didn't have to face Andre. It just seems weird. Andre would leave that money out there. He has to be really hurt, or he has to be one of the worst financial decision makers boxing's ever seen. Possibly is Roy Jones Jr. of this era and the decision making. And that's not a knock. Let me explain what that means, people. When Roy Jones was young, Roy Jones says he didn't want to take hard fights because of his health. He said, none of you guys pay my bills when I'm older. None of you guys are going to pay my bills if I'm ended up in a bed, right? 24-hour nurses. And then the guy's fighting at 45 in Russia. The guy's getting knocked out 3 times in a row, 2 times in a row, knockout of the year, trophy sitting on his wall. He doesn't get away. All of a sudden, his health doesn't mean anything. Will this be Andre? Will Andre retire and then 5 years from now try to make a comeback because, darn it, money ain't staying in the bank account like he thought it was? Maybe a bad investment here or there. Kids need something. He's got like 5 of them, and they're very young. They're not moving out of the house anytime soon. He's only 33. Never going to work again? You got a gym in Hayward. I don't know what keeps the lights on. Maybe he's going to turn into a trainer. Who knows? Like I said, Lee, 5 years is going to tell us if he's retired. That's how I'm going to take this, because 33 is a little too young to say he's done forever without him saying, you know what? The right arm just don't move. I can't even lift it over my head anymore. So that's all I got on Andre.
That's fine. As we stated earlier, this week is the passing of Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull. Dies at age 95, former middleweight champion. Just thought I'd throw it in.
He's outlived.
I left that as a dish up to you. There you go.
Nah, Lee, he had a crazy life. Look, 6 times with Sugar Ray. 6 times with the man that we described the pound for pound of all time. 6 times he fought him. Beat him once. First time to ever do it. Fought the mob. Went against Congress to say that he did fix a fight. I believe it was in the 40s, 1941. Do you remember, Lee?
No, I don't.
Are you with me here? You're not with me on this one. Let me look that up real fast.
Okay. And while we're talking about that, I'll give you the one biggest piece of news, and I think it's a huge piece of news for the week. So Matchroom is signing
Billy Fox.
Oh, there you go.
He fixed the fight versus Billy Fox, and in 1960 went in front of Congress and said it, Lee. How did he stay alive? Kind of makes him a rat, right? Right?
Right.
I don't mean to talk bad, but when I was like, damn, that really happen, Jay? So he outlived that. He outlived the party life. The dude was 95. You can only celebrate. Come on, people. 95, and he died in Miami. Isn't that like the capital of where all mobsters retire?
Or old people, one or the other.
Hey, he walked amongst them, and he went against them. It's I don't know, man. Crazy life. But yeah, rest in peace to the legend. Lee.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, people, I'm just throwing it out there. This should be a question amongst the viewers. If you admit in front of Congress that you fixed fights in your professional career, should you be declared in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, man. Where's Pete Rose at?
Well, Pete Rose just bet on boxing. That was his mistake. Come on, we all know the problem with...
Boxing's weird, though. It really is.
Boxing expects people to do that, Andrew.
Lee, we will bring up Pryor versus Alexis Aguero all the time. The dude is literally caught using drugs in the corner. We act like that is a great fight for him. Did you see that fight? It's one of the greatest fights of all time. Really? His fucking corner man is throwing a water bottle out of the ring saying, give me the mixed bottle. Give me the mixed bottle. What the people? And now you got Jake, who literally admits to a fixed fight. He's one of the greatest of all time. You know that, right? I'm just saying I love the man to death, but damn, that's hard for me to say. Really?
Just saying.
Hey, are you the greatest home run hitter of all time if they find out your bat was corked? No, you're not. Matter of fact, your record's a wash. Hello? Let me tell you something, people, is life of a criminal. What they always say, the cops always tell you when they bust you. I don't know this by experience. Maybe I do. Maybe. Trust me, it wasn't your first time.
Don't you have a football game at 10 o'clock, Andrew?
No, sir. I got a night game. Ding,
okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
ESPN tonight.
All right. One more quick story.
You at 10 a.m.?
Huh?
You at 10 a.m.?
It's 10 a.m.
No. Do the Chargers play at 10?
No. They're at home. It's 1 o'clock game.
All right. Good.
Daniel Jacobs gets signed by Matchroom Boxing. For those of you who don't know, I've said it on this show, Eddie Hearns, who is the greatest promoter in boxing today, because he puts on big, giant fight cards with lots of great people fighting on fight cards. The guy who's selling out, soccer stadiums, football stadiums in Europe, right?
He's got the heavyweight kingpin.
Who's literally made chicken salad out of chicken shit repeatedly. Signs Daniel Jacob, the former middleweight champion, and then takes his business away from HBO and signs a deal with ESPN to televise his November 4th card.
No, he took it away from Showtime and goes to HBO.
Sorry. Right.
There you go.
He's talked about going to HBO, and ultimately he's going to wind up on November 4th on ESPN.
And I got two things here, Lee.
Okay.
One, what is Daniel Jacobs' connection to Al Heyman and PBC? Because they used to have their own promoters like DeBella, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, two, I'm going to jump a story here. I don't think I put it on for you, but I'm going to tell you. Carl Frampton, breaking news, Carl Frampton this morning or maybe last night signed with Frank Warren. Lee, Carl Frampton used to be a PBC fighter. Used to be with Al Heyman. All they would do is use DeBella. Why are PBC guys now looking outside of the PBC stable for promoters? Things to come, people. I'm just saying, just look at it. Carl Frampton is signed outside. Daniel Jacobs signs outside of PBC and then signs with HBO, who in the past we knew did not work with Al Heyman anymore. I thought that happened, but maybe with Top Rank moving to ESPN, which is a great thing for boxing, it's saving boxing. People, mark my words, Bob Arum is saving boxing right now. With that moving to ESPN, Did HBO finally say, you know what, bring Al